Our next guest is here. He's an activist and a presidential aspirant for the next general election, Boniface Mwangi. Watu wamekaribisha hapa sana. As Jeremy anasema, the Kikombe anasema the president is here. Yes. Kelvin anasema, Boni pia yeye ambiwe, sisi ndio Sifuna. Karibu sana Boniface.
Asante, nashukuru.
Yeah, we welcome you with Felaris, who is also welcoming you, and we welcome her to join Fixing the Nation.
Felaris, welcome on board.
Thank you, Boni. It's a lot of welcomes.
Yes.
Yeah, we meet in a different studio.
Every time you welcome, you're given a shot.
Shot.
Go down.
No, beba pesa hapo. So every time we say welcome, unarusha. Unarusha noti.
Yeah.
But it's good to have you here. And of course, part of passing the baton is continuing something that I think anchors Fixing the Nation. It wouldn't be Fixing the Nation without a quote to guide our conversation. So today's quote is a little bit special, and it's in the spirit of guests. A guest is a guest for 2 days. And it's an African proverb, actually, a Swahili proverb. Mgeni ni mgeni siku mbili. Siku ya tatu, mpatie jembe.
Really?
How does that speak to you?
You know, no, I think ideally is about responsibility and accountability. When you come to my house the first day, I'll serve you and I'll cook for you. And then on the second day, I'll need you to start washing the house and helping clean up. I think everyone has a responsibility. You don't just come in and you tunakubeba kama mzigo. No one should be somebody else's burden. Yes.
After siku ya tatu bwana. Yeah.
Patia yeye jembe.
Kama unampigia take a toke.
One or the other.
One or the other. Point is, siku ya tatu is the day of reckoning.
Ukwe ready.
Ukwe ready.
Yeah, to be accountable. But a couple of weeks back, we saw you doing this, event where you were launching your presidential bid.
Yes.
And since then, people have been seeing, some people have seen you, others have not seen you. In fact, early in the morning, when we were saying that you're going to be hosting you, I said, how many people have actually engaged with the Boniface Mwangi presidential campaign?
Yes.
And I'd like to hear from people. We have seen Maraga, we have seen the United Opposition people, we have seen the Sifunas, we have seen Dr. Ruben Kigame,
we
have seen President Ruto.
We have seen Ruto.
Ruto himself.
Huyu Boni ana campaign wapi?
So I'm a grassroots mobilizer and I'm not like a big rally person. So what I've been able to do is actually setting up systems to be able to go to all the counties. And starting May, I'm going to hit the entire country. So the last couple of months is just getting my people on the ground, knowing where I'm going to go, where I'm going to spend the night, how I'm going to do it. Because I'm not a big money person. I don't have the money. I'm actually fundraising at the same time as I'm campaigning. So you're going to see more of me starting May all over this country.
What's your message?
My message that we need to liberate our country from the shackles of corruption, impunity, and bad leadership. I'm promising that when we get into power, we're going to end corruption within the first 100 days.
End corruption.
End corruption
within the first 100 days.
And that's
something that is in our DNA.
Can you see this?
Yeah. We have a hangman's noose.
I think what we need to do actually, we need to punish corruption. We need to actually, anyone who's caught involved in corruption, if it leads to loss of lives, loss of property, and destruction, they should be convicted, and we have judicial executions. That's my key message. Lazima tunyonge how. And how we're going to incentivize the fight against corruption actually is we're going to reward whistleblowers. So if you know someone who's a thief who has stolen money or land, and the government is able to actually recover what has been stolen and convict the perpetrator, you get a reward from that. So that's the key thing. The other thing actually is just rule of law. This country, the laws don't work for everyone. They work for a few of us. People who have money or access to lawyers can be able to get justice or some form of justice. But the majority of Kenyans are suffering under bad laws. And when they go to the police, they don't get justice. So basically, my campaign is based on the dignity of Kenyans and reclaiming back our country, back to the people. Because right now we become servants of the leaders instead of the leaders becoming our servants.
Okay. I always ask this when it comes to manifestos, plans, data. There's being against and then there's being for. Yes.
Yeah.
So I can tell what you're against. Corruption, it's bad governance, it's all those things. Can't tell what you are for.
What am I for? I'm for many things. I'm for ensuring that there's clean energy in this country, ensuring that there's affordable energy, actually. So, for example, one of the reasons we don't have jobs in this country is the cost of electricity. Factories closed down because of not energy. So we need to exploit geothermal, solar power, and ensure that every single county has a backbone of an industry. So whether it's cotton, leather, fish in Mombasa, fish in Kisumu, what is that one thing that we can do as a county, and it actually creates employment? That is number one. Number two, healthcare in this country is very expensive, and we should actually not charge for people to go to hospital. Healthcare should be free, education should be free. So what am I for? I'm for free education and I'm for free healthcare.
The free education is something I want us to look at. Your take on private schools, and given that you've been very vocal about abolishing private schools.
So I say
your kids have gone to private schools.
My kids go to private schools, and I think the only thing I can give my kids is good education.
Correct.
And at the moment, you don't have good schools that are public schools. And the ones that are good schools, they're very few and they're very overcrowded. So my point is that there is no country that develops in the world that charges for education. Like if you one of the ways to progress as a country, you educate your people are healthy, and the country will progress. Because that's the only resource that you have. So I am saying is that the moment you're born, this country should guarantee you free education and free healthcare, and the third thing is free water. In this country, over 20 million Kenyans don't have access to clean water. So they need clean water. Ensure they have clean water as well. So you have those three things, then the country is going to progress. And then you have rule of law. So which means if there's a disagreement or if there's trouble and you go to the police, you're going to get justice. And then if you go to the courts, the judge will be bribed. So basically everything that we're actually talking about is all in the Constitution. Article 43 guarantees all those things, but they're not given to us.
When you say free, there's nothing like free. There's nothing like free health, free water, free education. Who's paying for it?
We, the taxpayers. So we have a 2.4 trillion budget, and you can spend 50% of that actually on education. Secondly,
your budget is going to be 2.4
no, the current budget is about 2.4.
4 point.
No, the 4.4, sorry.
It's the other way around.
It's the other way around. So half of it is going to, if you spend half of that budget, that's what I want to say, half of that budget in education and healthcare, then the country is going to be on the right trajectory. Now, how do you pay for that? For example, medicine in this country, we buy medicine at a very expensive rate. There's generic medication. You can actually produce medicine locally. You just get which medicine is out of contract. Can you get a license for it? Let's do it locally. So you stop having KEMSA as a place where just go to get tender. India, actually, in the 1940s, Nehru actually made healthcare one of his core pillars of his new government. And today we go for medical tourism to India. So all these things are actually doable. For example, water, we can charge factories, companies, hotels, restaurants for water. But your basic water for home use should never be charged. Kunywa maji bure, but in your factory, pay for the water. So there's a way you can be able to do that. The reason why Kenya is poor today is not because as a country we're poor people. It's because of the money that is stolen every day. Latif, this country has many billionaires, and 99.9% of them have never produced anything, never run a factory, never innovated anything. Their key thing that they were in government, or they were public servants, or they were a DO or a minister somewhere. That's how they became billionaires. And there lies the problem, that people get into public office for public gain, not to serve the people.
It's a means to an end.
Yes.
As well branded.
I was going to say, to interrogate this whole idea of what public service actually is, we need to go back to the grassroots and figure out what is a public servant, what is the civil service, who is a president, are they appointees, are they, not appointees, sorry, are they, are they servants or are they leaders and things like that? And Boni has talked a lot about the software issues and how they manifest.
Yeah.
We like to deal with hardware manenos. That's where we usually get things wrong. And we go for, let's change the law, let's da-da-da. So when he says, let's hang the corrupt politicians and go through the judicial process, I am worried that is also a hardware fix, not a software fix. Because what if I can bribe my way out of the hanging? You know?
No, I think so. The fish rots from their head. I think when you get into government, the first time I voted, I'm a millennial, was 2002. And I remember voting, and then we were so happy. I was one of those guys at Uhuru Park throwing mud at Moi, shouting at those guys. And we left that place very, very happy. When we went back to our neighborhoods, when you're number 3 and a cop asks for a bribe, you'd arrest the cop, take them to the police. Now, what actually happened, any Kenyan who did that, when they go to the police station, to be arrested for assaulting a police officer. So, like Kibaki said the right things in his address, saying corruption is going to come to an end, but he did not do the right thing when it came to dealing with corruption. Now, as a president, and you say there'll be zero tolerance on corruption, and you lead by example, people are going to join you to fight. The majority of Kenyans are not corrupt. They do it out of survival or because they feel if they don't break, they're going to get into trouble. But most of us, you guys are not corrupt. You did not ask me for money to come for this show. So it's not every Kenyan is corrupt. It just sometimes survival or your poverty makes you become susceptible to bribes. So during campaign time, you go to a slum, someone doesn't have food in their home. If you give them 100 shillings, they're going to take it.
True.
Not because they are poor.
And we talked about that last week. The survey on corruption that was given by, I'm forgetting the organization.
It was EACC.
It was EACC, actually. Yes, you're right. And they said a majority of bribes are given for service. It's not.
Yes.
It's not. I'm getting out of trouble. I am brokering a deal. I'm entrepreneuring. It's I want an ID. I want this. I want that. I want a business permit and da da da.
And now, how do you deal with that? You digitize. You try and you try and minimize human contact on some of those processes. I think e-citizen, it's controversial and all that. It has actually helped minimize a bit of corruption because there's very less human interaction with some bureaucrats. But the other thing, actually, if you used to punish corrupt people, there will be less corruption in this country. The EAC spends much more money annually running offices than the money that they recover. So it's like a waste of money. Yeah.
I mean, I love listening to Boni and people who've really been active in terms of representing the voices of the people. But easier said than done, okay? I am not skeptical, but a lot of times I would want something to hang on to, given that the very institution that you're looking to get into, government, is so layered. The conversation we're having right now is so layered. And like Mariam said, we like looking at things from a hardware place, not the software. The software could, again, just be what it is, but the hardware is something that has been with us since independence. And some of it even inherited from our colonizers. So now we're looking at one institutional level coming down. So you're sat at the helm of it.
Yes.
But you need the House, which is Parliament, to help you run government. You need the Senate, you need the governors. And let's drill it all the way down to county level. Again, going back to my statement for easier said than done,
Yes.
I'd want us to really see what the approach for Boni as president, as a presidential aspirant, is in terms of really tackling all of these layers so that we can see you being sworn in on that fine. When do we swear in presidents? Is there a specific day? that is mentioned
There's
on the
a specific timeline after declaration of the winner.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for Boniface? So that at least now we can start getting into the meat of saying that we're going to be having public executions at Uhuru Park when we arrest people for corruption.
So I
Would love to see it.
I would love to see that, right? So my presidency is going to be a movement. I'm not coming here as Boniface Mwangi. I'm coming as part of a movement. And I think the movement must come together to elect the right leaders. Because if you rely on me on my goodwill, I'm going to disappoint you. If you rely on me and my reputation, then I get there and then I get corrupted, then I'll become something else, right? However, if I get elected by the movement, these young people who are in the streets say Nico Kadi, Ruto must go, and many other things, these young people must demand better leaders from the MCA level all the way to the presidency. So it's not Boniface Mwangi is going to do that because I'm running for only one position, right? But other people are running for other positions. So Kenyans must decide, we want a new Kenya. Then ask ourselves, among these all aspirants, who among those can take us to the new Kenya that we want? Then once we do that, it's going to be a collective effort. I also believe that before the next election, there must be a public vetting process of candidates by the Kenyan people.
How would you suggest we go about that vetting process?
I think about if it's like a job application, right? Who is Boniface Mwangi? Where have I worked? How much am I worth? What have I done? What's my track record? Have I ever been accused of rape, corruption, murder, mass displacement, land grabbing, all those things? So if you vet that, then you separate the wheat from the chaff. Because if you don't do that, everyone will come and say, I'm your savior, I'm your savior. But if you're a savior today, who are you yesterday? Were you the devil? Were you the killer? Were you the murderer? Or are you really a savior? Because the problem we have as a country, we do not interrogate people's past. Because when you fail to do that, if you interrogate their past, you're likely to know what they're going to do in the future. Because a leopard does not change its stripes, right?
Correct.
So basically, let the Kenyan people vet candidates. Let the Kenyan people ask these hard questions themselves. Let the Kenyan people stop selling their votes and stop voting along tribal lines and going with euphoria. Euphoria does not help a country.
Correct.
I'm imagining a situation where, say, people vote for Boni for president, but what you've posited, which is MCA all the way up to your member of parliament, your governor, if that doesn't change, Boni is unable to do his job.
Then you do what Kivuda Kibwana told the guys in Makueni. Let's resign, go back to the ballot. But at the end of the day, I think we are underestimating where Kenya is right now. Kenya is where it feels like it's like agitation for independence all over again, because Kenyans have discovered their rights, that's it, in the streets. They've discovered their voice. They've discovered that they can be shot and some will die, but they still continue fighting for this country. So there's an agitation for a new Kenya. And whether Ruto or whoever it is likes it or not, that Kenya is going to be given, it's going to come. Now, what we need to be very careful about this particular moment is that we might vote for masqueraders who may take us back to where we're trying to run from. So that's why I think we need a very open process where everyone who wants to run for any office is vetted by the people.
I'm still on that vetting process, given that, I mean, we see vetting being done in Parliament, where people come and declare their wealth. They tell us, oh, I am only worth 0 bob, yet we know and see something different. But given that this is very citizen-led, there has to be a structure to it. I mean, I'm going to go back to 2024 when we had the protests and we were, we had a leaderless movement, tribeless movement, and a lot of things, we could poke holes at it, and the effectiveness of a movement and a process relies on a certain structure.
Yeah.
So if we're going to have public vetting, how have you envisioned that? Or is it something that is still being envisioned, given that time is still ticking and we've seen the people that you're going to be on the ballot with are literally pouring all resources available to them, crisscrossing parts of this country, the president included, to just make sure that they secure the votes?
So I'll say this. The Gen Z movement was leaderless with leadership. There was leadership and structure, and it's still there. I don't know how this vetting thing is going to go. But I'm saying, Kenyans, can we collectively think together about how to vet candidates? Wealth can be hidden, but integrity cannot be hidden. If you are once a thief, we'll know you're a thief. So that cannot be hidden. So there are things that we are meant to be able, how many wives you have, those you can hide, because that's not public information. But when it comes to your track record as a public officer or a public servant, that cannot be hidden. Now, we need to go back to the days of my grandmother. There used to be something called an announcer, Mwangi. You go to the village, and at around 5 o'clock, some girl goes stand on top of a tree, announce, Roshio, tomorrow. Then we all repeat like kids, everything. So we're going to do the same thing about people's track records. If it's verified, we're going to tell each other, this person might claim to be this, but he's not that. And if we do that collectively, then we're going to do like civic education. So basically, it's actually civic education, getting to know your leader and deciding which of these leaders who are running are fit to lead this country.
Is there a need for people to start by understanding the job?
The job description?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you're conducting an interview for a certain position.
Yes.
You need to know the JD for that position.
Correct.
From your interactions with Kenyans, do Kenyans understand the JD for the various jobs?
No, they don't, because they, for example, ran for Member of Parliament in 2017. And when I ran for MP, they thought the work of an MP is to come and give me money for my healthcare, bursary, CDF, all those things. But they didn't understand that the job of a lawmaker is legislation. So there's a gap there that needs to be addressed. But you know, the beauty is, Kenya is about 36 million adults. People over above 18 years of age, they're about 36 million. I'm so sure that some of us can organize ourselves to do this civic education. Let's not wait for the NGOs or the IBC. We become ourselves, because at the end of the day, we are fighting for the future and the survival of our country.
Yeah.
Already we're in debt, our kids are in debt.
Yeah.
And if we do not stop the slide into anarchy and to reckless borrowing and reckless spending, then we'll have no country in the future. So basically, we all must take a role in that.
Let's take a break just on that thought. And when we come back, you'll tell us why you have a fat stack of cash or what appears to be cash, depending on whether or not I'm wearing my glasses. Hashtag is Fixing the Nation NTV. We'll be right back with Boniface Mwangi. Keep the comments coming, questions, and everything in between. We'll also open the phone lines for your phone calls in a minute.
A couple of comments as we come back to our conversation with Boniface Mwangi. Ask Jeremy anasema sasa tuna vote policies and track record and temperament. Nasikia bana?
Policy,
Nasikia?
track record, and temperament. Okay.
All right. Eugene says, Bonnie, it's true that the country is rotten, corruption being a major cause. Give us a blueprint on how you are to achieve this development and turn around the country. Also, understand it's within 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, just don't get it twisted. We're not giving you a 10-year tenure.
Am I allowed to answer that? Or?
You will just hold on to them. Let me just sample a couple of them. Yes. As Jeremy says, Boniface, we are the voters you want to vote for you. Go start small. Start from a village level. Kelvin Muna, corruption is a source of greed, hatred, and selfishness. You cannot just fight it like that. We need these four in order for this nation to move forward. We need leaders with love, truth, justice, and responsibility.
Okay.
Those are the four: love, truth, justice, and responsibility. In Njenga Njogu, every presidential aspirant is lamenting how debt is a burden to our budget. The current recurrent expenditure is another burden, especially in counties. If you don't talk about these two, you don't have my vote. And Njenga Njogu, when you talk about budget being 4 trillion, and we know very well our taxes can only raise 2.8 trillion, how are we going to fund the deficit? Or are we going to continue borrowing? And the Kikombe, my advice to Boni, ukiwekelea Bible tu chini heavy, make learning the Constitution mandatory for everyone from grade 1 to retirement age.
Donge.
Last one. Charles Ndungo nakuuliza, Boni, are you comfortable seated there? Does it feel like it did last year?
What happened last year?
Charles Ndungo, it talks about, there's new ownership at the Nation Media Group. Do you feel like we are gagged right now?
No, tuko sawa. So let's start with the debt situation actually in the budget. So one of the things that we have in this budget is odious debt. Money that was borrowed that never came to our coffers, money that was borrowed for personal projects. And that's why we need to actually have a debt register. We need to audit all debts actually, do a forensic audit of all the debts. If there's money that was borrowed that went in people's pockets, you must recover it.
Yeah.
And then if there's loans you can renegotiate and extend the repayment period. That's what we need to do. Number 2, recurrent expenditure. We have a bloated civil service. So we need to be able to go and audit the civil service, find out who are the ghost workers, get rid of the ghost workers, and the money they've been earning for the last many years, it's recovered. One of the things that, for example, let me give you the example of SHA. The reason why the government said let's do SHA is because NHF was very corrupt. But they've never arrested anyone for NHF corruption. So it's just another cover-up for someone to do something else. There's something that I want to do and answer the question about the debt situation and the problems facing this country. When I travel across Kenya, I want to do the People's Manifesto. Okay. My manifesto is going to be informed what people tell me when I travel, because Kenya have answers. In Makueni, when Kivuta Kibona was the governor, you'd say, this is the money we have as a county. Where do you spend it? Then contractors will be given work to do. But now the supervisors of the contract would be the local people, the village people. This idea of saying you're going to do 3 billion of road, 4 billion of road, is theft. There's something called bill of quantities. I've built before. When you're going to build a road, say, we're going to build a road for this much, these are going to spend this much money. So that Kenyans can be able to interrogate every single expenditure. I have a friend of mine who's a minister in Singapore, and he told me these are the budget. When the year comes to budget for his ministry, he'll have town hall meetings to discuss how much money is spending and where the money is going to go. Now, if anyone in the room has better ideas where the money needs to go, then they come and contribute. Our government at this particular moment is spending much more money on National Intelligence Service than Kenya Judiciary. Kenya Judiciary has more employees, more responsibilities. They have to deliver justice in a speedy way. They have to build courts, but they have less money than the spy agency that is not doing as much work as the judiciary. So basically, we have all our priorities warped. So we must decide as a country, how do we open our books so that we have a transparent budgeting process and everything is audited. The president of Kenya is going to earn in 5 years about 60 million shillings, but he's spending 3 billion in a month. It's total theft. So what you're going to get in my presidency is accountability to the last cent.
You've brought us some monies.
Yes.
Pesa mfukoni, cash. Cash this in 2027.
Pass him some, he doesn't have any.
Latif doesn't have.
Don't be broke, Latif.
So
There's enough money to go around.
essentially an IOU, I'm
Yes,
assuming, yeah?
yes.
It's an IOU. And you're saying that in 2027, cash this in.
Yes.
Right? What am I cashing it in?
So at the back of the notice of manifesto, the things I intend to do.
Manifesto, MONEY, manifesto.
Yes.
Money.
So it's a manifesto to promise you of the things that I'm going to do, and that's what the back is actually a pledge for voters that they're not going to sell their vote. At the end of the day, I'm not saying I'm the savior, and even if I don't get elected, I want Kenyans to actually have an accountability process for the people they're going to elect. Because at the end of the day, I want to live and die in this country and enjoy this country. And I can't enjoy that when you have no country. So I'm not only fighting for my presidency, I'm fighting for everyone's right to exist in this country in a life full of dignity and respect and enjoy the fullness of life. We should not have slums in this country. We should not have poor people in this country. Yeah.
I mean, it's we would all love to live in utopia, where we can have money, just enjoying, having a good time. But for us to get there, there's a road that we have to take, and the road is to the polls.
Yes.
Where if Boni is elected, akona hizi ahadi mingi sana ameandika hapa, but corruption and jailing economic thieves is going to be a lived reality. But let's look at the people who are likely to vote for Boni.
Okay.
Now, 20 years of you being very active in this space. So ideally, the people who've seen you, who've engaged with you, who resonate with your cause are majority of them are millennials and younger voters. So you need to activate a certain voting block, which is, now part of this exercise that IEBC is taking on.
Yes.
So I want us to pick to two things.
Okay.
One, there's a voter register that currently exists.
Yes.
That, there's issues of transparency that have been brought up. We did see what the IEBC said. It's like, kama wewe kuwa registered before the biometrics came around, wewe hauko kwa register, you're going to have to do it again. We have the IDs issue that now we've even removed the cost of taking IDs so that we can have a lot more people registering themselves. And then now we have the continuous voter registration. All of that tying into making sure that we hit that target of about 6 to 8 million Kenyans. But that is the voting block that you're looking to activate. Strategy nakaji.
So hata kuna wengine. So apart from that, I'll start with my core base. In the 2022 elections, 8 million Kenyans did not vote. They had no reason to vote. They realized, they didn't have a choice between Raila and Ruto. They were like, let me stay away. I want to find out why they did not vote and activate that community. Then there are people who are disgruntled with the current government. That's also another vote basket. Then you have people who are voting for the late Raila Odinga. Then that's another vote basket. Then there's the young people. So in this coming election, you're going to have, so you have 24 million voters on the register, plus maybe another 6 million. That's 30 million voters. There's a path to the presidency through that. So the 8 million people did not vote in the last election, and the younger voters who are right now, and then the woke voters who saw what were able to do the Gen Z movement and the calls for accountability in the last 2 years.
So that is the path that we're seeing being our way to winning on that beautiful day in August.
Yes, and also Kenyans want a new country. Kenyans who know what I've done in the last 20 years, my track record, people who have seen me fight in the streets, fight in the courts, fight in the communities, and being accountable to the people. I have been holding this People's Watchman office for almost 20 years. Never paid by anyone. Like I've never been on anybody's payroll or as a public servant, and I've worked for free for the people. So I'm saying, why don't you entrust me with the presidency so I can fix Kenya once and for all?
Boniface, listening to you, and I'll not begrudge you for this, but everything that you're saying is what politicians come and do.
Yeah.
They come and make promises around the same social issues. So it's clear that the citizens plus the candidates all understand what the problems are.
Yes.
Chakula bei bure, elimu ya bure, bei poa chakula, umalize ufisadi, maji ya bure, matibabu bila malipo, kazi kwa wote, linda maisha ya kila Mkenya, funga wakora wote. That sounds like, what one or several of these things are what every leader, every aspiring leader will seek. What's new? Is it the strategy that you're deploying that's going to be new, or is it the message that's going to be new? Because, so I'll hear this from Boniface Mwangi, I'll hear it from every other person, even those who want to be MP.
Yes.
They'll come with this same language.
Yeah.
Why you?
Why me? I don't think there's anyone in this country running for president today who has a track record like mine. Give me a name. Someone who has done the things that I've done.
What's your track record?
Reclaiming stolen public land, fighting for Kenyans, being jailed, beaten, shot for Kenyans. Like I've done so many things that if you go and you Grok is free or this AI and go and put me and the rest of the candidates that you're talking about and look who has a better track record than me. I've been fighting for Kenyans from 2009.
And what have you achieved?
What have I achieved? Langata Road Primary School as a playground, Naka Primary School as a playground. 2 years ago, there were millions of Kenyans in the streets because of being inspired by the work that we have done. Like I've led an example, there's a lot of young, courageous Kenyans today. Because of that, I ran Power 254, a space for artists that I began from the ground, from nothing. Without a single donor shilling by the way when I began Power 254. And over this, it has actually impacted thousands of lives. If you go to any concert or any show today, and you talk to a couple of them, they'll say, I learned some of these things from Power 254. So just because you don't go around shouting what you have done a lot of things. And Kenyans see. The reason why I am alive today is because when we got abducted in Tanzania last year, Kenyans fought for me to come back to this country. So yes, they may disagree sometimes with my tactics, but they see what I do and they see me.
Okay, Omtata?
Omtata, good man. Yes. What about
you could
him?
go mano a mano?
No, so
Achievement for achievement, public good for public good.
Omtata, public courtrooms, yes, he has been able to do that. And Omtata is my senior, so yes.
So basically, freedom fighter, you're a champion for governance and rights.
Yes.
And all, right?
Yes.
And there are others. There are others like you.
Yeah.
Why the presidency? The presidency is not, you're not going to be president so that you can be a freedom fighter, so that you can demonstrate, when things are going wrong. It's about proven capability to actually sit and make the right decisions when it's time to make the right decisions.
True.
Right? So how do we judge that? How do we judge that Boniface Mwangi has the wherewithal within him to actually make those critical decisions for the country at a time when it's needed?
Because being a president is being a manager. You manage people, you manage resources, and then you get the best team. You cannot lead by yourself. You actually employ the best minds in the country to work with you, which I'm going to be able to do that. What's unfortunate actually is that Kenyans elect the people with the worst track record for the best job in the world, which is the presidency. So if you compare my track record with the sitting president, I have a better one because I have been working for Kenyans. His track record is from being a militia, a Kanu youth winger, a man who was arrested for stealing land, a man who was accused of crimes against humanity. So even if you're comparing me with the current president, I have a better track record and credibility and integrity than the president. I don't have experience in stealing. I have experience in leading Kenyans to claim back what has been stolen. And that's good enough.
Okay.
So you're a good representative of the people.
Yes, and if they
There's
elect
a good
me...
job for that, where representation is a core of the job, and that's member of parliament.
No. Yes, MP, yes. Senator, yes. Governor, yes. But the problem that we have as a country is at the very, very top. And if you tell me to start MP, it's going to take 20, 30 years for Kenyans to be fixed, and maybe we'll have no country left. However, it's very unfortunate that this question comes up.
Yeah.
And then I want you to interrogate the Kenyans you have elected in that even National Assembly. And you have elected actually the worst. And that's why money politics is a curse to this country. Because the more money you have, the more likely you're going to get elected. The reason why when you began this conversation says, oh, these people are everywhere. They have more money. Where does that money come from? The money that has been stolen from us.
Right.
So I know I can make a better president than all the candidates combined. However, I also know that if we work collectively, we can fix this country. Because among the aspirants, there are people who have a very clean track record. So one of them can be my running mate,
Okay. It's good that you went into that tangent, because it's been widely accepted that we aren't making it out of the block if the united opposition or all opposition or everyone running for president doesn't come together under one umbrella and field one candidate.
Yeah.
The math just does not math for anyone going it alone. In fact, if anyone does go it alone, you're likely to split the opposition vote and give William Ruto a second term. Are you ready to join forces with the other opposition?
I'm ready to work with like-minded people who have a track record, not of killing Kenyans, not of abducting, but of working for the people.
Which means you're going alone.
No, because the others have done such bad things. No, let me say this. For us to get the Kenya we want, we must work with people who are going to take us to that Kenya. You don't tell me that you want me to share me a table with someone who has been accused of looting and robbing and killing. Like I have such self-respect for myself that I cannot share a table with thieves.
Okay.
If we
Let's
go
just
one by
name
one.
names.
Yes,
right?
I was about to do that.
Drop the names.
Let's go.
So let's
Yeah.
look at the. So there's the incumbent, William Ruto.
Yes.
And then the other people who have declared interests include Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Omalo,
Fred Matiang'i.
Matiang'i.
We have Martha Karua, who's
Yes.
done this before. We've got
Kalonzo.
Jimmy Wanjigi, Boniface Mwangi,
Pastor Ruben.
Dr. Ruben
Dr.
Kigame,
Ruben Kigame, yes.
right? CJ Emeritus Maraga, and
Okiya
there's
Omtata.
Senator Okiya Omtata.
Yes.
Right? 9 names that I've named so far.
Yes.
Of those 9,
Yeah.
how many would you feel comfortable working
I
with?
think there are about 3 or 4 names there that actually we can be able to work with. Because at the end of the day, the persons who are in that list can decide for the sake of this country. We're not going to vie, we're going to step aside, and also not going to demand half of the government. Because the problem you're going to have when you go into bed with some of those people, they're going to say, I'm going to support you, but I must get half of these ministries.
condition.
Then you go back to the same problems the country is facing. But the question is, why are we not being more idealistic in our approach and say, what can we do to ensure that it's only the right people that get to the ballot? Because the other people who are failing us is the AACC. They just clear all manner of hoodlums to run for office.
Are the 3 Okiya Omtata, David Maraga, and Martha Karua?
Why are you trying to put me in a box?
I mean, it's only fair.
No.
Ambiguity would leave nature up as a vacuum. So
Yes.
if you leave it up to Kenyans, they will decide
Which
who it
3?
is, which of the 3.
No, everyone who can meet chapter 6 of the ethics and integrity. And then, so let's say this, let's have a value-based conversation. The time is going to come. I think by December, it's going to be more clearer who are the front runners of this presidency.
So it's a bit too early.
It's a bit too early because people die, all manner of things happen. So let's not put ourselves in a box. Yes.
I mean, it's we'll wait for December, but since we're here now,
Yes.
it is April coming to May, and of course there's certain things that have to happen between now and the next election. And I'm still on this exercise of getting people to the ballot because, again, sitting in numbers,
Yes.
that was a thing that in 2024 we were talking about. The power is in the numbers, and we need resources to mobilize. And you did mention starting May that you're going down qua ground.
Yes.
Will that form part of the civic education that is needed at grassroots level to speak to those people? Because the assumption we tend to make is that the social discourse we have on the platforms is representative of everybody, but we are really not speaking to a majority of the people in this country.
Yeah.
So will that form, will that be part of the civic education that we need to run qua ground and actually get the ground sentiment and get those numbers?
Yeah, that's part of the plan, because I'm going to be hosted by local leaders, MC aspirants in every ward. So basically, we're going to be having those conversations.
How are we financing this?
So if you look at my manifesto, there's a very tiny detail here, support the movement, and there's an M-Pesa buy goods. It's 50, 10 to 15. So I'm actually going to launch a campaign later this month, 10 bob for Boni, and for everyone who's going to vote for me. If you intend to vote for me, just give me 10 bob every week. 10 bob for Boni, 10 bob to State House. And that's how we're going to finance my campaign.
Okay.
Mbona unanipangia budget bana?
Mwanze nipange tafadhali kwa sababu unasema sikiza, you know,
Unaweza toa 10 bob mara moja.
and you know those who fund
Anasema anangojea sasa every week I must budget for Boni
10 shillings. Yeah.
But go on.
You see, 10 bob for Boni basically means that if you fund me, you own me. You own my voice. I'm not owned by a cabal or a cartel or rich people who are importing bad sugar for Kenyans. It's just me working for you. So I'm trying, and that's what I'm saying actually. I want us to have a movement for change for this country. And if you support a movement, the same way every Sunday or every other Friday you go to the mosque or you go to the church and you try to give an offering, I'm saying that this is the candidacy. Do as well to that to my campaign. And I have so much belief in Kenyans. I have so much faith and hope in them that they can do the right thing and change this country.
What if they don't?
Wow, manzesi heartbreak. What if they
I'm
don't?
starting by, you are fundraising.
Yes.
What if you do not get the sufficient amount that you need to sustain a campaign?
I don't think I will not get enough resources. Maybe I'll even get more. But you see, the other thing is actually there's going to be like a counter where you see how much money is coming in, how the money is being spent. It's going to be a full accountable process.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm asking for 10 shillings, I'm asking for commitment to the struggle. Yes.
You're not answering the question. What if they don't?
We shall still campaign.
It's an assumption that you're making here that people are going to buy into your campaign. They may buy into a campaign the first month, and then they just get into that donor apathy. What if they don't sustain your campaign?
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So it's very, you don't start a war from a losing foot. Like you don't behave like Arsenal.
That went for the jugular.
You're winning, then you lose hope on yourself. I'm already winning, so why should I lose hope on myself?
So you don't have any contingency plans?
The plans are there. There's no way you
president
can.
without a contingency?
There's no way you can run for president without a contingency.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who's going to fund it?
No,
Because
there's.
the thing is, there's gonna if there is a deficit
Yes.
in the public mobilization of resources,
Yes.
from where will you get the money?
What I know for a fact, since I'm not buying votes and I'm not bribing anyone to vote for me, voting is free. I'm gonna get all the votes free of charge. So there's no loss here, because even if you don't give me the money for 10 bob to print a poster, you're still gonna give me your vote. So I'm already winning. Just imagine you're having this conversation this morning, because why? We are winning. I already have 10 bob from her. So
Pledge.
Now the thing is,
Yes.
I look at, for example, David Maraga, who has attempted more or less the same thing. And over the last few months, I think he's been able to raise 2 point something meter.
I think it was about 7 million.
Oh, actually, yes, it did.
Yeah.
It was two in the last month or something,
Yeah.
but cumulatively kafika 7 million.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money, but it's also not when it comes to campaigning. So it tells me, I don't know if Kenyans are willing to put their money where their mouth is, but then even what you've said about you have the vote, people need to know you to give you the vote.
Yes.
And I'm thinking through, watu wanajua Boni, but si kila mtu anajua Boni, and not everybody knows that Boni is running for president and that this is his manifesto, this is what he wants. So there's still a fundamental flaw in your system. If there is a gap, that 10 bob doesn't come through. If I direct my 10 bob to go watch Afro cinema, what next?
So the reason I'm going across the country is for people to get to know me. I'm going to go to vernacular radio stations. I'm going to get hosted by TikTokers, people in the village. I'm going to basically, it's called Bonga na Boni. I'm going to the village level. And one of the reasons why I've actually delayed traveling actually is of goons and militia. So you have to do like a proper plan in case something happens.
Okay.
But if Kenya was like a free country, what I would have done is buy a bus, call it Kenya One, and just hit the country one way. And it's actually a possibility that I'll buy a bus and just travel by bus across the country. My only concern is that safety is not guaranteed in this country. And there's that issue of safety and all that. And I don't leave my kids as an orphan, as orphans. So I wish Kenya was a safe country to campaign.
So you want money to hire your own goons?
No. I just need money to be able to ensure that I can hire security everywhere I go so that I'm safe from goons and militia and police.
Describe this security.
It's basically,
So you're in a bus, you're going, say, to Western Kenya.
So if I go to Western, if I'm going to have a rally, you work with the local people who are in there to provide security for your meeting, right?
AKA local goons.
Not goons, man.
What's the
You
difference, though?
You see
Private
now,
security or,
you can hire
Kenya police?
goons, for example. You know, like the people who own militia in this country and they own goons. That they have an army, jeshi la mzee or jeshi la fulani, right? I won't know them. I won't own anyone. I'll just say, I'm coming to have a meeting in town. Then can you have this? For example, let me give you an example. When you did the Mashujaa concert at Uhuru Park, we told the police not to step inside Uhuru Park. We're going to secure the grounds for ourselves, which we did. So we hired guys from the MTA to ensure that everyone in that place was safe. There was no stealing, there was no looting, there was no problems. When the event ended, everyone went home. And basically, last year when we were trying to do June 25th anniversary, we had hired the same local arrangement where you look for former boxers, karate guys, taekwondo guys, you pay them because they have gyms from the MTA. You go to all the gyms in the MTA, hire some people, they come in the city, they protect everyone, then they go home. But what the police did, they arrested all of them. Because they don't want Kenyans to be safe. They want there to be violence and destruction when there's a protest. But basically my point is, for you to be able to have any successful meeting in this country, you must have security
arrangement.
Because if you fail to do that, they will unleash bad things on your people. And it's unfortunate.
So these private guys must be prepared to confront anybody who comes, hired by the others.
So the beauty of that is that people know each other. Like if you provide employment for guys from Kibra want to come and destroy a meeting because they say, you know what, wasiwetu wako hapo. They don't fight. Basically, it's actually you're trying to balance power and distribute resources.
I mean, talking of matters security, because that is a very clear verdict to the security organs in this country that citizen does not feel confident to go get their right of protection. And it's very heartbreaking to even think about. Now, election day, we have all of these camps within different polling stations to, one, protect the vote as it's been branded, and also to run like their own parallel counting, and then, of course, that going to the national tallying. I want to understand how Boni has viewed that. Now, we're on election day, to kwa ballot pale. How do you have machinery qua ground in terms of how you're going to have people present within all
agents.
of the... Yes, agents. Thank you, Eric. Agents at all the polling stations. And are we going to start hearing stories that, tumeibiwa, yet we were not there to protect our vote?
So the machinery is coming. That's why I'm going to go to every single ward between now and the end of the year to ensure that I have people on the ground. But I think one of the beauty of a presidential election is that on that particular day you have so many multiple agents for multiple candidates, and that actually helps in guarding the vote, because voting is not enough in this country. You must protect that vote, and that's going to happen as well.
We just had Dr. Mukisa Kitui in the 7 o'clock hour, and he did say or mention something that we've seen the United Alternative Government talk about, the National Tallying Center. And there's no need for that because votes need to be counted qua ground, and that needs to be the final count. What's your stand on that?
It's the Menake ruling that was done in 2017. So the final tallying is at the polling station, not at the National Tallying Center, because if they do that, it's they're opening a back room or a back door to steal elections.
So how do you declare Boniface the president?
How do I declare myself?
No. How how does the Electoral Commission announce Boniface Mwangi as a winner?
Because so they'll tally from every polling stream, right? The numbers are final, then they're tallied eventually, but everyone is tallied at the same time.
So how do they tally? We have 46,000 polling stations across the country.
Yeah.
How does the IEBC tally that?
The numbers have to be forwarded to the tallying center, right?
Which is where?
Bomas.
Bomas doesn't exist anymore, but maybe it's going to be
Yeah.
Bomas. However, you see, the numbers are still the same. So the final numbers, yes, they'll announce at the Nairobi, wherever it is. But the numbers that are coming from the ground are the final numbers. The problem was, the suggestion was actually that you can count all the votes, but the votes for the president should be forwarded to the tallying center for tallying. That is illegal.
What? So then, the gap I'm seeing is, where do we do the math? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
essentially, because it's fine. At the polling center, I have announced Felaris as MCA, Eric as women rep. I don't know why I switched those like that. And
And let's say Boniface has with the winning candidate.
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Not even the winning candidate. Here are the results for the presidential election at this polling station. That happens at every polling station.
Yes.
So then,
But you see, you're dealing biometrics. So this number is final, and the numbers go up as the final numbers. So they announce there. But you see, at the same time, the agents are tallying, the candidates, if they're there, they're tallying, and the IBC is tallying. So the numbers must also tally, like the outcome of those numbers cannot vary.
yeah.
So then we still need a tallying center somewhere.
Is it
Where we
an
consolidate.
announcement center? You're not tallying. Where you tallying and the numbers have been tallied. Announcing announcement center. The problem is, the moment you allow them to say there's a line for the presidency to tally, that's where Kamango. Is it Kamango?
Jose Camargo.
Jose Kamango is going to come in, and then you have another petition that is unnecessary. I also think, so we're going to have, there's a possibility, because I'm a very hopeful person, you're going to have a 2002 moment where the numbers are so overwhelming, no one can afford to steal the elections. I also think there's going to be a 2007 moment where the winning coalition is going to do like a Pentagon. So we say we have 5 or 6 candidates. One is the front runner, the rest are playing key roles, and then you go to like that to the election. So there's many possibilities. But I also totally agree with you that there must be a coalition of people who are willing to change this country, but they must be based on values. So let's stop speculating. Let's wait for the months to roll by, and then the answers are coming.
Okay. A few questions coming from Fixers Online. So Eugene Larry is asking, explain to me like you're explaining to a 15-year-old. What is this thing about getting half of government? Why is it always a factor? I understand it's politics, but why is it so necessary? Boni, you need to enlighten the people in rural areas given they form the lion's share of voters. Me, I'll ask, do they need enlightening? Peter says, good morning, a brave patriot with a long track record on standing of the Bill of Rights. There was one more that I was trying to look at. No, I'll come back to that one. But let's start with the question on, what is this thing about getting half of government as a bargaining chip, and like, why is it necessary?
So people run for office, for power, money, and prestige. And then they have investors. So the investors come and say, I'm going to give you 1 billion shillings, but I want this particular ministry because I have interest in that ministry.
Yeah.
So, and that's why in the last, before Rigathi was kicked out, he said government has shareholders because people gave him money and he gave it to Ruto. So he said, I must get half of government. And so they do that. It's a business transaction, basically. Yeah. And that's why you get portfolios, ambassadors, and all that. If you look at when Raila Odinga and Ruto shook hands, he got half of the government. It's a transaction because when you get half of government, the ministries and the tenders in those ministries come to your people. Yeah. So basically, they're running Kenya as a private company with shareholders.
You know what? It's a system of our politics. And if we have got to change it, then we've got to change it at a very, very basic level. Even if you go to the county level, you'll start it from the point of which communities are in this county. So which community gets what seats. It starts from that level. Which clan is in this county. You go into Mandera And it's a clans. Which clan is a majority? So let's negotiate. We take governor, you shall take deputy governor, you shall take senator. The woman rep can, in fact, in Northeastern, they say, okay, woman rep is okay.
We'll give you CCs.
You take. But then also, once you take government, how many CCs are you getting? It's the way we run our government.
Correct.
Also because we see somebody who is like us in government representing us. If you look at national level handshake and people saying, finally, the Luo nation is in government, is because Raila has nominated Mbadi and Opio and I into government, and they've joined government, and they say, finally, the Luo nation are in government. Forgetting that there was Oalo who was in government before, and Dr. Raymond Omolo and the others were in government. So it's...
And that they're not getting paid.
Yes. How do we change that, Boniface? Because if you are to become president, you will come with that baggage.
The beauty is I'm not coming I don't come from dynasty or a cabal or like a cartel of people. So I don't owe anyone anything. I can sit and say, actually, Kenyans have made me who I am today. So I don't owe anyone anything. And that's the beauty. And
Are you sure? Like, let's think about it. If
Yes.
people start coming for their slice of cake, someone comes and they're like, Mwangi neke, come on.
Yeah, I helped you here.
Yeah, I helped you. Another one is like, lakini
Something.
si wewe unaishi Ukambani ama uko na Wakwito. Mwingine akuje, Boni, as activists, tumekuwa na wewe tukidodge tear gas jamani. Unatuacha sasa. Everyone will just come for their little slice, their little slice, their little
And the
slice.
people who have contributed a lot to your campaign.
Correct.
Time,
They feel indebted.
sweat, blood, tears, they're
Yeah.
contributing to the campaign. They want something.
So you must have meritocracy. You must reward people who have been part of the struggle with you, and they merit those positions. But they'll have to play like everyone else. So basically, you don't dish out government positions like candy and creating illegal offices to appease your support base. It won't work. And I come back to me saying, Kenyans must decide if there's going to be a coalition, it's going to be based on what? Not give me half of government. Not to be that you owe me. We cannot do that. If we do that, we're doomed as a country,
Okay. I was thinking, you wanted to ask.
No, I'm just exhaling on behalf of Wanjiku
Oh.
because Wanjiku amechoka.
Yeah.
And kuchoka in the sense of every day people's plight being used as a bargaining chip. And Wanjiku not really, this cake has been cut so much, there's nothing more to cut. So it becomes very exhausting to even have that kind of, conversation where it's like, oh my God, we're getting into another Nusumkate arrangement and blah, blah. Even the thought of it.
Yeah.
It's just, so that's why I was exhaling.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
And it is tiring when you're the pawn. Someone else is, playing the game.
Correct.
But you're just the pawn, you're a number, you're a block. But the fixes are what we need to get into. I'll speak to young people now and what we're seeing as far as Tukokadi, people picking up a little bit of momentum, but still below what is needed, right? We want 6 million new voters, tukona 1 point something.
Yeah.
That we've gotten.
1.37.
1.3, right? The goal for this round of enhanced voter registration was
1.3 is actually just from the beginning of April until
that's-
Friday.
That's the beginning of April. So that's for the enhanced voter registration,
Yep.
which is really good, short of the 3 million goal. Now, we ask ourselves, is the wanting good cosmetic? Let me put it like that. And again, we've seen massive turnout from young people, but still short of the targets. So this idea of wanting change, is it cosmetic? When people say, Boni, we've got your back, we are ready to cash in this check of yours in 2027, is it cosmetic?
It's not. So there's going to be the continuous voter registration and people register. But also there's a feeling among Kenyans that change is not possible. So I think we need to work harder with the gospel of change. And if we do that, people are going to get incentivized to vote or even to register. It's too early to say that it's cosmetic. But it's going to happen. Kenyans also very last minute. So maybe this week there'll be like a very big bump on the registration numbers.
Hey, we hope hope
You know, I'm
so.
just actually very curious because I like listening to optimists who are, listen, naysayers, nyamazeni, go first of all and touch some grass because we really need to be hopeful about the future of this country. Are there times, Boni, where you just sit down like this and you're like, man, I'm really just pushing a wall that cannot move?
Yeah, I think I was telling, there's a time, I think early in the year, I was not very well mentally. I was getting a bit depressed. And I just took my life, and my life was actually working the way it is. Then said, let me mess it up by running for president. Because of the responsibilities, the demands, and I feel like I'm overstretched. And the reason I'm overstretched, because I'm trying to do things the right way, like building grassroots movement, going to the communities. Because let me tell you, if it was about vibes and euphoria, you'd find me in platforms with other politicians every weekend. I would be crisscrossing this country. But I feel like that's not the way to bring about change. I feel like there's a role we need to play of educating people. But there's a part of me that feel like I'm a prophet. And I've been sent with a message that even if they do not listen to the message was delivered. And so that gives me solace and keeps me going, because I'll say I felt this was the calling and the way to go, and I went and I said these things. Then 20, 30 years down the line, you might go back to that same message and use it. I'll give you a quick example. 1984, 1988, Jesse Jackson ran for the US presidency. First black man trying to get the Democratic ticket. His message then was keep hope alive. Then almost 20 years later, Obama runs on hope. Just removed keep and alive from the message and say that. Yeah. My message for my campaign is love and courage. Love for this country and the courage to believe we can change it. Ni upendo na ujasiri. Now, upendo na ujasiri may not work this time round. But in the future, maybe our kids or our grandkids will use the same message to turn Kenya around. So I'm here as a prophet at the same time.
So you're playing the role of John the Baptist.
Or Elijah as well.
Or Elijah.
Yeah.
Speaking ahead of time.
Yes.
So not necessarily at this point. You ran in 2017.
Yes.
For MP Starehe. And I've talked to you before about that experience.
Yeah.
And what it taught you. But how do you apply those lessons that you learned in 2017 to this national campaign? In terms of, one, engagement with the people, the communication with the people, and getting the buy-in and support of your voters?
So lesson number one is run early. I ran for about 6 months in the last election. So I began my campaign like 2 years before. So I have 2 years to be able to popularize my candidacy.
No, well, you haven't begun. You're saying you're beginning in May.
But already people know I'm running. I'm an aspirant already. Some people know that I'm running, right? Number two, go to the community. So I need to go to Chama Women. Need to go to market days. I need to go to the community much more. And number three, you have to keep hammering the same message over and over again. And people need visualization. That's why I'm walking around with what does it mean that you're going to lynch? Not lynch. Lynch is what Kenyans do. Yeah, that's what used to do black people. How are you going to hang corrupt people and all that? So that process. And Kenyans relate to that because every single day in the communities, when they catch a thief, it's wrong and it's illegal. Yeah. But they lynch the chicken thief, the snatcher, they do that. So I'm telling them, what about if you had a process where people have been stealing money from this community, are arrested, prosecuted, convicted and jailed, and then you have a public hanging. And that visual actually sticks to Kenyans. So basically, it's when I say is trust the process.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm trusting the process.
You know, it's actually quite ironic here that an ardent human rights defender is on the other side of the conversation about the right to life and hanging. Because people in the civil society space and human rights defenders are actually advocating for the proper abolition of the death penalty.
Yes.
And the death penalty in this country.
Yes.
You are right there championing for it.
Yeah. I think some people deserve to die, but they deserve to die through a judicial process. So I have to actually put a disclaimer. I'm not saying that you kill people in the streets or hang them in the streets. I'm saying someone is arrested and taken through a judicial process, convicted, exhaust their appeals, then they are hanged. But that means that Parliament will actually have to pass the law because it does not allow hanging. So it's with a life sentence of 30, 40 years. But we need to at least get rid of some people. Jerry Rawlings actually did a different way. Jerry Rawlings Ghana, actually, when he took over power, he took 2 former presidents, judges, chief justice, took them to the beach and shot them. And Ghana is the only country in Africa where every other time the opposition will lose, they don't fight, the government is going to lose the hand over power, because there's a very smooth transition of power because of that, what happened there. We love borrowing money from China, we like saying about China, but China executes corrupt officials. If you embezzle public funds, you're going to be killed in China. It's actually a firing squad in China. So I'm saying the moment we talk about best practices, let's borrow them. Singapore is one of the least corrupt countries in the world. Why? They are very punitive. Penalties for economic criminals.
I hear you about the punitive measures taken against criminals in many places where things seem to work. But then again, I just go back to our issues are their software. In places where the death penalty has been abolished or where pushes are made to abolish it, it's often because of many reasons, but primary among them will be that there's so many people who are either hung or injected or and then you find out later they were innocent. And that speaks to a judicial system's issue, a miscarriage of justice. Sometimes maybe when the public especially is angry and there are matters of huge public concern, there's just a need to see things being done. So we may rush through the process of justice. So I'm still thinking through a situation where we want to hang those who are corrupt, but we don't even truly know who are corrupt. Or we end up hanging, for example, the stooges or the public faces, which is often what we see in our papers, right? It's the person who took 100,000 that's being hunted by EACC. It's like cameras, lights everywhere. The chicken thief, yes. But the guy, the billions and billions and billions, those people are doing okay.
Do you know David Munyake?
No, I don't.
He was the whistleblower for the Golden Bug. He was hounded, hunted all over this country. Died a very bitter man, I think, in 2004. Do you know who he exposed? Kamlesh Patni, who is still alive and calling people in Zimbabwe. But if the Golden Bug inquiry had taken action on Kamlesh, shouldn't be out here doing those things. When Nakumat fell, there was an auditor who was shot, who was auditing what happened in Nakumat. This country executes witnesses and whistleblowers against powerful people. What I'm proposing is we have a mechanism to protect whistleblowers and witnesses to ensure that if they give us good evidence, we protect them and we reward them for whistleblowing, then go after the people who have stolen. So we're not talking about small criminals like this one in here. It's talking about who wants expressway. How come when the government changed hands, they increased the expressway instead of telling us what the owners are? How much are we paying for the SGR? Where does that money go? Such things. Who did we give 1 billion for software for SHA? You see, the beauty about money can be tracked. Money has a scent. So if money has been stolen from NHIF or from SHA or from avoidable housing, you can follow the trail of that money and find out where the money ended. So it's possible. My problem is, on Friday I spoke to someone from EACC. I said, my problem that you guys are doing deals with criminals. Someone steals 4 billion, 3 billion, then you have an out-of-court settlement, they return 300 million. They have a profit of 3.7 billion shillings. The same way they say we don't negotiate with terrorists, we should not negotiate with economic thieves.
I mean, we've previously talked about, this hardware software issue that we have. And there's a message here from 110. And this is her thinking. Well, Bonnie needs to solidify his thinking a bit, though. I feel he endure the downside to activists. Very passionate, but they need to ground their thinking with fact and frameworks that are realistically workable. But to be fair, huku politics rarely goes deeper, becomes an issue of software versus hardware analogy. So again, just having all of these beautiful, colorful words and what should be done, but does the hardware really allow us to achieve this within 5 years? Actually, let's call it 3 years, because then 4th year is spent politicking and 5th year is neither here nor there. So 3 years, would we be able to do all of these things that Bonnie wants to do?
The transformation of a nation happens overnight, the moment you have good leaders in power. But on Jiro, everything that I'm actually saying, the only thing that is not in the Constitution is the hanging of economic thieves. It's not there. but punitive sentences, all of them are there. What I'm saying is, everything that I've said in this show this morning is grounded in the Constitution. So that's my basis. That's my Bible for this struggle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just as we wrap up, sorry, someone is saying they like your thinking. Oh, I love how hopeful Boni is. That's my Mwangi. He has asked how you'd address vote selling and buying. I think you've spoken to that. Nicholas is asking, ask Boni if we have a Gen Z anniversary this year. And again, his take on Governor Sakaja's appointment of Gaucho to Mama Lucy Hospital Board. Very quickly.
All right. I am disappointed by Gaucho's nomination because he threatened violence on us last year. There's even a video even saying, Hanifa, Boniface, if you step in the city, we're going to harm you. But if you're a goon, you have to vote other goons. So Mukuru kwa Sakaja governor has decided to appoint another goon in power. That's for him. There's an anniversary this year, actually. We're planning to do it 2 days. June 25th is a Thursday, so we're going to do Thursday, Friday is a holiday. No work, no school, no movement. If you can't go to the streets, stay home. And the calendar is coming, and many other activities are coming.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful conversation with Boniface Mwangi. He is a presidential aspirant and activist, and he's telling you, you know what, you can cash in. He's making a promise, an IOU, that you can cash in 2027 should you elect him. We'll be back tomorrow, bright and early. Kesho ni mambo ya pesa kidogo, very ready for Tuesday. But up next, of course, is Your World, and on Nation FM, we'll have Claudia Naisabwa and Brian Aseli on the Vibe Shift. From myself, Mariam Bishar, Eric Latif, Felaris Wamboy, have an amazing Monday morning.